What if one call changed everything? She is Anna, a support voice heard by hundreds, yet rarely truly seen. He is William, the man who keeps calling with the same question, not for the answer, but to hear her voice. Between them are wires, pauses between calls, and the phrase, "Let's take a look," that slowly begins to mean more. They meet by chance in real life, and don't recognize each other at first. Because sometimes the heart knows before the eyes do. This is a story about love born from a voice, grown in silence, and kept forever in the smallest things. Coffee with no sugar, a jacket placed gently on shoulders, and the words, "all set," which one day come to mean, now and forever.
Love Stories Max. Welcome to my channel. Enjoy watching, friends.
All set. I work in customer support. Yes, that kind of support. Where your voice must stay calm, your smile has to be audible, and your soul should preferably remain invisible. I have a headset, a large mug that says, "One more call and I'm on vacation," and a strange habit of counting how many times a day someone asks, "Are you sure?" It was on one of those perfectly ordinary days that he called for the first time. "Hello. It seems my account still isn't updating." His voice was a little unsure. Soft, as if it was apologizing simply by existing. I checked the system. The issue took 30 seconds to fix. "All set. Everything's working now." "Oh, already?" He paused. "Well, thank you. You're very fast." I smiled. He couldn't see it, but somehow, I think he felt it. "It's my job." "Then, have a nice day," he said, just a bit too slowly. I ended the call and went for coffee. And I didn't even remember his name. He called again 2 days later. The same issue. The same name in the system. And the same voice. "It seems, it's not updating again," he said carefully, as if checking whether I was still there. "Let's take a look," I replied, already knowing I'd say, "All set." He hesitated. "You sound like you're smiling today." I froze. "Excuse me? Your voice. It's warmer." I laughed. Truly laughed. For the first time that shift. "Must be the coffee." "Then please thank the barista for me," he said very seriously. After the call, I stared at my empty screen for a full minute. And caught myself waiting. For what? For the next call? He started calling regularly. Every few days. With the exact same issue. I knew it by heart. He knew my, "Let's take a look." Sometimes we talked a little more. "You always explain things so calmly," he said once. "I feel like you could soothe a storm." "I just imagine I'm talking to a cat," I replied. "Oh," he brightened. "Then am I purring correctly?" I pictured him. And for the first time, I wondered, what does he look like? He called on a Friday evening. "Anna," he said, reading my name from the system as if tasting every letter. "Do you ever get tired of being a voice for strangers?" I thought for a moment. Sometimes. But sometimes, it feels like someone doesn't call by accident. He was quiet for a long time. "You know," he said softly, "I'm not calling because of the account." I froze. "I'm calling because..." I like the way you say, all set. My heart started pounding so loudly I was afraid he could hear it. I like it too, I admitted. When you call. We said goodbye, very carefully, as if touching something fragile. We met by accident. I was standing in line at a small bookstore, holding a coffee and a book with a bookmark halfway through. He was standing in front of me, tall, a little lost, trying to decide whether he needed a notebook. "Excuse me," I asked. "Do you know if there's another exit?" "I don't think so," he replied. And I didn't recognize him. Because the voice was different. Alive. Three-dimensional. "Thank you," I said. "You're welcome," he smiled. We walked out together. Went the same way. Stayed quiet. "This is strange," he said suddenly. "You have a very familiar laugh." I stopped. "And you have a very familiar, oh." He looked at me more closely. "Anna? William?" We laughed. Loudly. Honestly. As if we recognized each other not with our eyes, but with our hearts. "So," he rubbed the back of his neck. "I was calling, and you were?" "Yes," I nodded. "You called," I answered. And we didn't recognize each other. Because sometimes, I said, a voice knows more than a face. We went for coffee, then for a walk, then for another coffee, because the first one ended too quickly. He turned out exactly the way I imagined. A little awkward, very attentive, with a laugh I wanted to hear again and again. "You know," he said, "I haven't had any issues with my account in a long time." "I know," I smiled. "But I'm glad you did." He took my hand, gently, as if testing the connection. "All set?" he asked softly. "Now it is," I replied. And for the first time in a long while, I felt that this was a call I wanted to keep answering, always. We didn't call it a date. At least, not out loud. "Just coffee," William said. "Just a walk," I agreed. But we both got dressed like it was something much more than just. I took a long time choosing a sweater. That one felt too formal. That one, too much like home. In the end, I picked a soft, light one. The one that always made me feel a little braver. He was waiting outside the cafe. Not leaning against the wall. No. Standing straight, like he was afraid to miss the exact moment I appeared. "Hi," he said, as if he'd practiced that word. "Hi," I replied, and realized I was smiling too widely. I didn't stop. We ordered coffee. He remembered how I drink mine. No sugar, but milk. I noticed how he always sets the cup down for a second before taking a sip. Like he checks the temperature with his thoughts instead of his fingers. "Are you always this attentive?" I asked. "Only when I care," he answered, not looking directly at me. I nodded silently. I wasn't ready for that so soon. We went for a walk. The city felt calm, as if it had lowered its volume just for us. He walked beside me, but not too close. And it felt right. "It's strange," he said. "I used to know you only as a voice." "And now?" I asked. "Now I know how you wrinkle your nose when you laugh. And how you hide your hands in your sleeves when you're a little nervous." I stopped. "You noticed?" "I notice," he said softly. We sat on a bench. There were just a few centimeters between us. Those centimeters were full of warmth. Do you remember, I smiled, how you kept calling with the same issue? I was really bad at lying, wasn't I? No, I shook my head. You were very good at wanting to hear my voice. He laughed, and I thought I could listen to that sound forever. When the air turned cooler, he quietly took off his jacket and placed it over my shoulders. No question, no performance, just care. Are you warm enough? He asked. Very, I said, and it was true, even without the jacket. We didn't rush to say goodbye. Time seemed to wait for us to be brave. Anna, he said, may I call you again? I smiled. This time without a reason? This time, for the best one, he replied. He took my hand, more confidently this time. All set? He whispered. Yes, I said, completely. And I knew. This date was only the beginning. Anna, I'm lying in bed, staring into the darkness. My phone is face down, but I still know exactly where it is. As if it's breathing with me. I can still feel his jacket on my shoulders. I took it off, folded it neatly, but the warmth stayed. In my memory, under my skin, I think about the way he took my hand. Not suddenly, not cautiously, but like it had always been his. All set? His voice sounds different now. Not in my headset, inside me. I smile in the dark, just to myself. And realize that for the first time in a long while, I'm not afraid of tomorrow. It feels good just knowing that somewhere out there is a person who remembers how I drink my coffee and how I hide my hands in my sleeves when I'm nervous. Before falling asleep, I finally turn my phone over. A message from him. Thank you for today. I'm still smiling. I don't reply right away. If you give words a little silence, they become more honest. Me too. Good night, William. And as I close my eyes, I think, how strange, and how right, that sometimes love begins with a voice. William, I don't turn on the light. The room already feels full of her. My jacket hangs on the chair, the same one I placed over her shoulders. It still carries her scent. Warm, real. I replay the evening again and again. The way she smiled without holding back. The way she stopped mid-sentence when the feeling mattered more than the words. I think, how did I live before, not knowing what she looks like when she listens? Her laugh stays in my head like a melody I want on repeat. I pick up my phone. Put it down. Pick it up again. I type, delete, then write something simpler, because simple is honest. Thank you for today. I'm still smiling. Her reply doesn't come immediately. And I don't rush it. Some things don't like being rushed. When her words light up the screen, I feel calm. That rare, deep calm. Like everything has finally fallen into place. I lie down, staring at the ceiling. And for the first time in a long while, I'm not thinking about problems. I'm thinking about how her voice sounds when she says my name. All set. Yes. Now it is. Anna. Exactly 1 year ago, I didn't know the sound of his footsteps in the hallway. The way he exhales before falling asleep. How he moves my cup just a little farther from the edge of the table. I only knew his voice. Now I know more, and at the same time, less complicated. We wake up early, not because we have to, but because the light falls into the kitchen just right. William makes coffee in silence. I sit on the windowsill, wrapped in his sweater. Mine, his, ours. No sugar, milk, he says, placing the cup in front of me. I smile, not because he remembers, but because of how he remembers, like it's not a detail, but a part of who I am. Over the year, we learned silence. The kind that isn't scary. The kind where nothing needs to be proven. We learned how to argue, gently. Not to win, but to stay. Sometimes I still work with my headset on. Sometimes he hears my voice from the next room. And every time, he smiles. That's her, he thinks. My calm. In the evenings, we walk the same streets where we once walked side by side without touching. Now our hands find each other automatically. Remember? He asks. I remember everything. Even the things he thinks I forgot. We've collected small things. Matching mugs. Silly notes on the fridge. A blanket that's always a little too short, but always warm. And an evening ritual. Lying in bed and sharing the best moment of the day. Sometimes it's something big. Sometimes it's simply the way he took my hand in the middle of the street for no reason at all. One evening, he calls me. I'm in the next room. Hello, he says in that familiar tone. I have a problem. What kind? I ask, holding back a smile. My life has become too happy. And I don't want it fixed. I pause for a second. Then say, let's take a look. He walks into the room, sits beside me, takes my hand. All set? He asks. I look at him. At the person I once knew only by voice. At the person with whom I now know silence. Yes, I answer. Now and forever. And I think. How good it is that once, long ago, he kept calling with the same question just to hear me.